Oh, you're already starting, what the fuck? I wasn't ready. Okay, we can just start from here. Hello everyone. Welcome to the 8th round of Challenger League for this season. I do not remember the season number. It's like 19. I am here because I am... Season 20, yeah, okay, cool. I'm here on my own because we're doing everything like last minute today, but that's okay. Otherwise, we've got sprint qualifying at the moment. We've got 14 drivers on the park today. Just following, who was it, Nos to start us off. See Kato as he heads down the line. It's a single lap, of course, in the sprint quali. Dog Gamer takes pole. I did not mention the course at all today. We're driving at Val de Vienne. I believe this is a replica of a real track in France. I'm not sure where in France, but it is definitely a French circuit. Dog Gamer takes pole by 2.5 tenths over Kato. Ricky and Piggy will make up the top 4. That's Mika, Jaruni, Kola, Polak, Toaster, and Albono. See in 10th. Got Nos, Eloxian, Nikhil, and Strudel. Nikhil and Strudel both not getting good laps is a bit surprising given their especially Strudel's performance in JL about an hour and a little bit ago. So that's definitely a very interesting prospect. He just did not put a solid lap time at all. Neither did Nikhil, really. I guess they're both starting from the back now as we get into this in just a few moments. Alrighty, we're getting straight into it. All drivers lining up, ready to go. We are underway with the sprint. Dog Gamer gets a good start here. Kato just following alongside Piggy and Mika side by side together as we enter the first of the 2 long straights on this course. This chicane is going to provide a bit of trouble. Jaruni losing some positions off of that. And it's still pretty good for Dog Gamer as he heads us into the final sector. Kato makes a dive. It's going to cause a bit of a Cosentino effect. Kola getting a bit of trouble there as well. Side by side with Jaruni there. A lot of drivers finding some trouble, but it is Dog Gamer still in the lead. Piggy in second, Mika third, Kola in fourth. Jaruni and Ricky fighting away side by side through the first sector. Toaster just following behind them. Kato not the greatest start from P2 on the grid, but he is following along in P8 behind them. Nikhil, Veloxian, Strudel, Nos, and Albono with Polak rounding the grid. We'll head back to the front now. Dog Gamer holding the lead. Kola trying to make a move there. And tries to make another move onto the inside of Mika to Mika, but that does turn to the outside for the following corner right at the end of the circuit, and that does give Mika an opportunity to hold a position. He is slowing down just a little bit, gives Kola an opportunity to grab some slipstream, try to make a bit of a move. Mika squeezes him, but Kola is actually going to end up taking the position there. A bit of rough racing, of course, with Mika having a bit of ping. Oh, Kola, big mistake there, hitting the wall, turning in way too early for that one. And it's really bottlenecked the fight for the podium, and it's given Dog Gamer all the room to run now. He is almost 2 seconds ahead of the field now. Kola is alone though, so he can try and make some gains on that, but a 2-second gap 3 laps into a sprint is not what you want to see in terms of a real fight for the win, of course. Piggy now in third, Mika and Jaruni following behind, Toaster following in 6th. We've got Loxian already out of the race, DNF for today. It means there's still 13 drivers on the park. Toaster making a deep move, gets a bit interrupted there by Mika's line, and they'll be going side by side trying to fight for the slip. Toaster with the inside line takes the move into P5 over Jaruni. Kato following by in 7th, and It's Ricky in P8, Nos, Nickel, and Strudel following along 9th, 10th, and 11th respectively. Then it's Albono and Polak further down. They're quite a fair ways back. Maybe that had something to do with Eloxian DNFing perhaps. But might have been a bit of contact down the back. We would want to see that later. Maybe in the reports or anything else like that. Dog Gamer still in front. The gap has only marginally shrunk between him and Cola, but it's still a solid gap between the two drivers, with Piggy now sitting in third. Toaster now trying to get his way through to fourth, but this pack of four cars are sort of slowing each other up. Oh, big contact between Mika and Girouni. Girouni getting well forced on the outside into the gravel there, and really losing a bunch of time to his competitors here fighting away for P4 as it stands. Mika does seem to be slowing up quite a bit compared to Kato and Toaster in front of him. Ricky now slowly closing the gap to this group in P8, alongside Nickel and Strudel just following along. But yeah, the gap between Dog Gamer and Cola, it's still fairly large at this point. Still about 2 seconds as we head into lap number 8. So into the final 4 laps of this race, and Dog Gamer still holding on pretty convincingly. Piggy just over a second ahead, over a second behind of Cola. Then it's Toaster about a second and a half behind him. Kato, Mika, Ricky now in front of Girouni in 7th as they look to try and catch up. And Kato has made a very costly error there, and he's going to catch Ricky in this pack is going to catch him all up at the chicane, so this will be a lot of problems for everyone. Strudel catching a lot of catching no space there, and loses the pack there. Unfortunate for him. Albono and Polak and Nos, the last of the runners as it stands. They're going to go a bit feisty here for the battle for not finishing last. Polak on the inside, but Nos with the better exit out of the final corner. Okay, that's very cool. Let's go back to leaders. Well, Dog Gamer is just only building the lap here as the tyres really seem to wane away at the final few laps of this race. It's over 3 seconds ahead of Cola, and Cola himself has been gapping Piggy as of late. Gap is about a little over 1.5 seconds between him, but Cola and Dog Gamer is almost a 4-second gap. We'll go to Toaster now, sitting at 4th. About a second away from Piggy, but he's cleared up everyone behind him, so it's looking like almost guaranteed a P4 at this stage. Could catch up to Piggy if there's a bit of errors along up the field. Mika in 5th, Kato in 6th, Girouni now in 7th ahead of Nickel. Ricky making a big dive there, and actually makes a stick relatively cleanly as well on the Canadian. So he's back up into P8. Nickel trying to make a move here. Goes a bit too deep into that corner. He's going to lose out of position to Strudel as well. Down to 10th he goes as we enter the final lap. But it's Dog Gamer now 5 seconds ahead of Cola. And it's looking very convincing here. Piggy with a mistake. Toaster also with a mistake. Mika finding some trouble with the grip as this group still comes along. Around the final corner, Dog Gamer comes in, takes the race win. Cola comes in for P2. And Piggy will complete the podium. Toaster in 3rd. Mika will complete a good race in P5. Kato, then Ricky and Girouni. Girouni trying to make a move but unable to do so. P9 will be Nickel, then Strudel, Albono, Nos, Polak, the final finisher for today. People are getting into the infield. Okay, that's very cool. Alright, so Strudel takes the fastest lap with a 33 flat. Otherwise, 5.5 second distance from the winner at the end, Dog Gamer. Again, victorious in CL. He's been making really good showing of this season of Challenger League, and his gap at the top is only going to increase. He was only up by 14 points heading into this round, so a big stack of points in the sprint, and 9th for Nickel is not going to help him out too much. There you go, Dog Gamer converting pole into the sprint win. Can he do the same thing in the feature race? He did so last week, where almost a perfect weekend. He got pole in the sprint, second in the feature qualifying, and got first in both races at the Silesia Ring last week out. So every chance he can keep that streak going with another solid qualifying and race result. Because we've got to also see what can Nikhil do to recover, because that sprint was not in his favour at all. And neither in Jaruni's favour either, both starting around mid-pack and both falling away a bit as the race progressed. And it's Albano who had a really rough time of finishing in P11, so both not great races for the Mazda Motorsports pair. And Kenza will definitely be hoping to maybe gain some ground in the Constructors as well. That is a bigger gap than the one in the Drivers' standings, but there is every chance to turn it around. It is a 35-point gap between Mazda Motorsports and Kenza at the front. Alright, here we go, back into the swing of things. 3 laps of dry qualifying to set the grid for the feature race. We are underway. Let's follow Albano. Let's see what it can do on a solid race. So, Val de Vienne, we've got a very complex set of corners to start the lap up with just a combination of the tightening turn 1 into the switchback 2 and 3 into the back straight, and the chicane is also quite tight as well. Into this final sector Albano goes though. And these corners as well, this whole track is just full of really tight turns overall. Bono, I think, hitting the grass there. I'm not too sure how that played out. He does finish the first lap in P10 as Nos with a 32.03 is going to be the head of the pack. It's the other Kenza showing up in the sprint qualifying as it stands. Cola in second, Kato in third, Ricky in fourth, Dog Gamer sitting in 8th as it stands, but it is a pretty close pack, about 3/10 separating the top 8 as it sits right now. Going into the end of lap 2, another mistake from Dog Gamer. That's not going to be an improvement, is it? No, it's not. Not too many improvements overall that lap. Only around the back of the field, it seemed. Not still holding on to that. Not still holding on to pole position. Cola tying him now on a 32.03. Can anyone break the 32-second barrier as we halfway through the final lap here? Nikhil running through Cola and Jaruni almost side by side in terms of where they are on the track. Everyone heading through the final corner now. Who's going to take pole here? Strudel! Strudel takes pole! A 32 flat! Unbelievable result. There we go. Strudel with pole position for the Velocity Power team. That is an exciting result there. Nos will start on the front row in P2. Then it's Cola, both tied on a 32.03 in third. And then Kato rounding out the second row of the grid with a 32.05. Very close between the top 4. Piggy in 5th. Ricky will start in P6 for Rising Goat. Then it's Nickel in P7. And just behind him, Dog Gamer in P8. So, not the qualifying either of the championship protagonists wanted there. Mika in T9. Then it's Polak in P10. The top 10 separated by just 2.5 tenths. That is unbelievable. Then it's Eloxy in 11th. Jaruni in 12th. Toaster in 13th. Then it's Albano rounding out the grid. So we've got 4 tenths separating the entire grid today. That is an electrifying qualifying result. That is quite remarkable indeed. Wow, this is a very mixed up grid, all things considered too. Cola, you think, might have the best shot of taking this win out of the guys we usually see at the front of the pack. But yeah, it's going to be very curious, you know. Dog Gamer and Nico both starting midfield. Albano and Toaster both they're decently quick on the day, and they're starting at the back of the field, and they're not that far away from the pole time, so everything could come down to strategy as we head along to the grid now. Here we go now. The lights are on the way, and everyone is on the softs besides Aloxian. Oh, and that's an immediate shove. What is going on at the start here? Nickel shoved away. Kato drops down to P14 and last. As you see, Aloxian's also in the same team as Jerini and Kato, and he's just dropped out of the race immediately. So yeah, interesting start here. That is very confusing. He didn't have to restart, but okay. Anyway, we'll go back to the front. Strudel holds the lead. Oh my god, Toaster's found the gravel as well. The Strudel holding the lead now. Cola sitting in his slipstream. It's a fairly big gap now. 1 second to Dog Gamer in third, who has made a massive start. Piggy in fourth, then it's Mika to Mika. Nos in sixth, then it's Jerini and Nikhil 7th and 8th. Polak, Albono, Ricky, Kato, and Toaster at the back as it stands now. 2 laps into the race. The Strudel still holds on to the lead. Cola just happy to take the slipstream as it stands. Dog Gamer is catching very, very slightly. But Strudel does take the fastest lap of the race. No, it's Nikhil actually with the fastest lap of the race. 32.2 as he tries to make amends. Gets past Nos into into P7, sorry. Jerini now in 6th in front of him. Everything is happening as we get into the start. It's really gonna be a test of who can be more consistent today, as Nos is slowly falling back here in P8. He's got Albono right on his rear wing. I wonder if the Mazda Motorsport driver will try and make a move here. He tries into the outside, not exactly going to work. Nos with the slight ping, of course. As we follow along, Piggy was sitting in the top 3 or 4 as it stands. Now he's in 6th alongside Nikhil and Jerini. There must have been some sort of combat contact, or maybe a mistake that's forced him down there. Let's go back to the front now. Strudel and Cola still running away. Strudel with a 32.18 is his best lap. It was set just this lap. Ricky's saying there's a TP on the field. I'm not sure where that is. Cola in 2nd. Dog Gamer a 2nd behind in 3rd, but he is a 2nd in front of Mika in 4th. Then it's this pack, Nikhil, Jerini, Piggy, and Nos between the top, between 5th and 8th. It's another DNF there, Kato, due to connection issues. Bono in 9th, Ricky in 10th. Polak with a big mistake there, and Toaster is really getting held up here. He's not being able to get past him, but these two are falling well behind the pack as we head into lap 6. Yeah, 30 laps, and I'm going to be curious to see if anyone goes for any interesting tyre strategy here, because I think with how fast the softs look, maybe a 3-stop would be possible here. It'd really be a battle between the 3 and 2 stops, I think. But yeah, we do have someone in the pit. It's Nos in P10. He's going onto the hards after 6 laps. And yeah, that'll be the pace setter, and we'll see how that goes. Piggy and Polak both making errors, huge ones, and they're back here, and Nos is not going to get a good run of things, as it looks like, because he's just stuck behind back markers, the HK Blues as it stands. Alright, let's go back to the front. Dog Gamer is actually caught up to the front too. Cola is now in the lead, with Strudel following behind, and all 3 of them, sorry, have stuck on for an 8th lap on the soft tyre. And so has everyone else, besides Toaster, who's also made a stop onto the hard. So, really curious about how this is going to play out. Cola holds on to the lead. Strudel getting challenged by Dog Game, who tries to make a move on the outside there. It's not going to work out. Is anyone going to stay out? No, they're all in. They're all into pit at the exact same time. 8 laps. Being too much for these guys. Jerini goes on for another lap. That is interesting. We've got Cola on the hards, Strudel on the hards, Dog Gamer on the mediums. Mika coming out in P5 on the hard tyre. Then it's Nikhil, Albono. There's Nos coming in. He's now sitting in P8 behind Albono on the mediums. Then Ricky on the mediums as well in P9. Then it's Toaster, Piggy, Polak, who've both made that stop, and that is everyone who's currently still running. There's a big fight here, though. Still going between the top 3. Jaruni does make his stop on lap 9. And he's onto the medium, so maybe he's going for a medium soft medium. A soft medium soft, sorry. But yeah, I feel like the drivers have been able to take the tyres a lit longer than I would thought they were going to. Given the grip, given how tight the corners are here and the relative grip levels of the softs, of course, but here we go, Dog Gamer now leading the way as both Kola and Strudel put on the hards, and they're just going to follow him through. So Dog Gamer is going to bet on having a stronger second stint and then getting the undercut for the potential final stint if things go that way. And it's Nikhil and Mika. Nikhil moving up to P4, with Mika more than happy to take the slipstream of the medium runner. Even with the little radio message over there. Nikhil, though, with a mistake. He's just got to be wary now, because he does have more than just his race resting on his controller. Though another mistake, and Mika wants to get a move on. He's alongside, side by side, into turn 1, between drivers running 4th and 5th, and it's Mika who does make the confident move into the corner and takes the position from Nikhil. We'll see if Nikhil can be a bit more consistent, maybe take that place back, but they are losing a bit of time to Jaruni now. Cuts a bit of grass there. He's currently sitting in P6. Albono, Ricky, and Nos following alongside 8th to 10th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. It is Dan Ricky with a big mistake there. Loses the position, drops to 9th. Toaster a long way back. It's Piggy and Polak still running in P12, but it is yeah, big development here at the front because Dog Gamer has dropped Kola, and that could prove vital in his quest for another feature race victory here. It's running very well as it stands. Another good lap from him, and he is now almost a second in front, actually a full second in front of Kola, as Kola makes a stake on the opening corners, and Dog Gamer is just going to run away with that pace advantage of the mediums as well. Kola in second. That gap now. He's also got a similar gap to Strudel in P3, and it is a bit of a gap between them, between the top 3 and everyone else. It's really 4th through to 9th. The next group, Nikhil leading the charge. He's dropped Mika out of his slipstream. And it's Jaruni still chasing. But the thing is here is that Jaruni actually has better tyres than everyone in front of him with the extra lap he did on the softs. So we'll see how that plays out. Bono, Ricky, and Nos slowly losing the grip of the guys on the medium tyres. It seems the mediums are running fairly well here as we enter lap 16. Dog Gamer now 2.5 seconds ahead of Kola. It's looking very, very good for our current driver's leader. Strudel's actually caught up to Kola, so it must have been a mistake from Kola. Yeah, the gap. Strudel's caught up Kola by almost half a second on the previous lap, so there definitely would have been some error on Kola's part here. Side by side. Well, not side by side, but Strudel's just holding on to the slipstream as it stands, taking different lines through this through this final sector. Still holding on to the slipstream. Lap 17 for these two, as we've just passed the halfway mark of the race. Nikhil running away now in P4, but it's Jaruni who's actually gotten past Mika into 5th, and again he does have the advantage of the tyres in terms of wear at this stage of the race. So not too surprising that he's been able to catch up to this group now, and potentially he can see P4 in his sights for today. Be a good recovery from how the sprint went earlier. So you could say for Nikhil, who really wanted to be making sure he doesn't lose too many more points to a Dog Gamer as we enter the tail end of the season. Mick in P6, Albono still heading off Ricky in P7, still ahead, but not Ricky, just not in slipstream just yet, doesn't look like. Then Nos in 9th, Toaster and Piggy fighting away in 10th and 11th as it stands. It's still 3 seconds back from P9, so it's looking very hard for them as it stands. We do have a couple of drivers in the pits. This Dog Gamer coming out on the hard tyres. He's going to be sitting on these for 12 laps. It's going to be interesting. That's a very early undercut. That's more than I was... He did 10 laps on the mediums, I believe. But yeah, I wasn't too sure of that. Albano and Ricky both pitting as well, so they're also sticking onto the hards for the final stint. So Dog Gamer will be hoping that this undercut is well worth it. Cola responds the next lap, and Dog Gamer is already making inroads on the gap here. Jaruni staying out on the mediums. We've got Mika in for another set of the hards. And the gap between Dog Gamer and Cola now is almost 5 seconds. And that undercut definitely helping matters as well. Strudel still holding on the hards. I believe he wants to go one more lap before putting on the medium tyres. And that is exactly what he does. Goes onto the mediums for the final stint. Cola just getting past Jaruni now into turn 1. Jaruni's tyres really worn now. He's going to definitely be trying to hold on to the slip, but I think he's lost it as it stands. It's going to be very important to see where he comes out. Okay, Strudel still going. Strudel, I don't think he's been fast enough on this opening lap to catch Jaruni, but Jaruni will be into the pits now, so... Oh, he's made a mistake entering the pits. That's not one you want to see at all. Nikhil running in P4 after that stop. Mika, how far is it going to go? Jaruni putting in softs for 9 laps to end the race, and he ends up just barely in front of Albano to start his final stint. Okay, Nos and Ricky riding away in P8 and P9. We'll go back to the front because Dog Gamer is cruising now. He's 3 seconds up on Cola and Strudel, but I swear that gap was a lot bigger the last time I checked, so we'll have to see. Cola caught him by 6/10 the last lap, and he's got 8 laps to go still, so yeah, I think there's every chance that Cola could still make the difference if he keeps that momentum up. Strudel's also got a similar gap to Cola, so yeah, we're going to see how that goes. The last lap, Dog Gamer has straightened up a bit, and the gap, Cola only gained 2/10 that last lap. So if the gap between the two tyres is that, then should be manageable for Dog Gamer if he makes no mistakes from here. Strudel maybe a bit too far away from Cola to mount a challenge here. Nikhil in P4 now a long way ahead of Mika and Jaruni, who are actually fighting away as it stands. Jaruni tries to go inside, tries to go outside, but Mika's covering the line. Jaruni tries to go onto the outside, goes for a better exit. He's still got the slipstream. It's pretty, honestly, not particularly easy to overtake here. We've seen a few good moves lately across the race, but wow, the Jaruni just with the extra grip of the softs there, just running through the inside on the exit, and there you go, he makes the move. He's 4 seconds back from Nikhil with 5 laps to go, and his softs are going to really, really peter out at the end of this stint, so I doubt he could make too many inroads, but we will have to see as we enter the final 5 laps. Dog Gamer just running off the back, the back straight. Cola entering within 3 seconds now of Dog Gamer's gap. And Strudel another 2 seconds behind. Again, Nikhil in fourth, sorry. Jaruni and Mika. Mika actually tried to make a move there. Pretty interesting in how that played out, but he did catch a bit of the grass from the chicane. And Jaruni also makes a bit of a mistake there too, so Mika will be definitely hoping that he can potentially snatch this P5 as Jaruni's tyres slowly peter out in terms of their grip levels, of course. Now Bono, I don't think he'll be catching them. Nos on similar tyres, but he's made a mistake there, and Ricky is right on his tail. it's a bit difficult to really make a move here. That's what I've found most intriguing, is that the move's just not been particularly well here. Nosto does make a slight error and Ricky gets through into P8. Then we've got Toaster, still racing Piggy, side by side here. But Toaster's on the mediums, Piggy's on the hards, and this is about the crossover point where the, I'd say, in terms of the mediums and the hards, and this is where the hards start to really show their longevity and sort of balance out with the mediums at this stage. Like, Dog Gamer, just a lap and a half to go. The gap with Cola has very much stabilized over the last few laps. Strudel still in third. Nikhil running well clear in fourth. Jerini still holding on in P5. I think he should be able to make it. He's got a second gap now over Mika, but this last lap will really test him. Albano in 7th. Nos and Ricky still racing pretty hard here. Still going through. Ricky trying to make a move here, but it won't be for not just yet. Final lap. Dog Gamer just going through the final sector as it stands. I think he's going to be happy about a job well done. He started from the midfield, got straight into the thick of things from the start, and takes the win in the feature race. Cola will take third. Strudel in third. Cola in second. Nikhil will take P4. I'm getting my numbers completely jumbled up today. Jerini holds on for P5. Mika in 6th. Albano, Ricky and Nos all finishing together 7th, 8th and 9th respectively. Then it is Toaster and Piggy finishing 10th and 11th, with Polak out in 12th. There you go. Kato actually stole the fastest lap pretty early on before he DNF'd, so I guess he gets that one before he retired. And then 14th, Eloxian, also with the early DNF. But there you go. That is Challenger League once again for another race. And the real trucks, the real model trucks, don't stop coming. Final 2 races next week is Bahrain, and then the week after that we'll be heading to Austin for Kota, and those 2 races will be really interesting. There is an opportunity for Dog Gamer to seal up the title next weekend, so we'll see how that plays out in the next C-Prix. For now, that is all. Thank you for watching.